Hey traders, Okane here, back with new analysis. But first, let's look at the pound. Remember the previous video I gave you this support here because we had this channel on the pound on the daily charts. So it was a channel here, and I mentioned that if this support was to be broken, and you can see it broke here, you got the daily candle closing below that support line. And I told you we could be shorting this all the way down towards the lower part of the channel. So pretty good reward for this trade. I hope you managed to use that analysis and you got a good trade all the way down. As you can see, now it's broken. Okay, so now we need to get us new targets, new areas. So what we're going to do, we're going to remove these old lines. And I'm gonna actually scroll down because there isn't much to see here. We see a break, a retracement, and then price fell down again. So I'm gonna go down to the 4-hour time frame where I actually spotted a new pattern. So I want to share this pattern with you. It could help you trade. So here we can see how price has been breaking step by step. So that's one pattern here. We see a breakout here going sideways, another breakout with another 2-candle breakout there, going sideways, another 2-candle breakout. So you see this pattern has been repeating itself once, twice, 3 times, and then the 4th time here. But we can also notice that the pound, these two patterns here look more similar than the previous one. So we see that these patterns are repeated and then price kind of changes pattern. So that's because it's getting near a very strong support area. Here you can see it on the weekly chart. You see price is pretty much at the weekly support. It came down, dipped even below that weekly support, and now it's getting up with a large candle wick here, just like previous times, like last year here. You can see that 2017, 06, so a little bit more than a year ago, this was a strong support here, and you can see the bullish candles coming in here, very huge volume. So therefore we might expect to see some bulls coming in here, some kind of reversal. Of course, we cannot just hope for a reversal, we have to still do our analysis, and so this is what I've been looking at now. So we have this resistance based on the weekly, and then we have this previous support becoming resistance. So if the patterns repeat, we might see another break. Price might go a little bit lower because the weekly support is more than an area than just a line. You see the candles here close here, but you can see how low it can go before it bounces back up. So we got the first bounce, and remember here we got several candle wicks, so price kept bouncing up and down before the bulls eventually came in. So I'm not saying that's going to repeat 100% like before, but we want to be careful because just a break from here doesn't necessarily mean a big bearish movement, because there is a weekly support. Price might go sideways for a while, but if we get price above the trend line, which is from the channel I showed you on the daily charts, then that's a better signal for a reversal for the bulls. So you want to keep an eye on that. And for now, we're going to move to the Canadian dollar, and we have some interesting patterns here as well. Look at the time frame, it's the daily charts. So if we zoom in a little bit and look at the channel that the USDCAD is trading within. Once again, we see some patterns here. See the previous breakout here, approximately here. We see another breakout here. You can draw it differently. You can base it on these two candles. You can base it here. And then you see that this candle closed below the support here, so that's another breakout. And then we got this situation that we are in right now, current price. So a break below this trend line, but also below the support. You want the candle to close below this support, this huge green candle, which could signal the bearish movement, the continuation. So again, we could be trading down, but at the same time we must pay attention to the currency correlation with the Kiwi, New Zealand dollar and US dollar, called the Kiwi. So if we look at the Kiwi, what do we see? We see a breakout from this area, so a bearish breakout. Normally the Kiwi and the CAD are in negative correlation, and we can see that if we look at and compare the two charts, the CAD weekly and the CAD week and the Kiwi weekly, we can see one has been moving up, the other has been moving down. So here again we can find a channel. As always, on most assets you can find a channel. Channels are very good because it shows you the trend, and it shows you the targets. That's also very nice to have targets, know which direction, what to trade towards. So not always the channels are going to look exactly parallel here. Looks pretty good. You got the first breakout here, you got the second breakout here. You should see this sharp drop there. So now we're waiting to see if we get a retracement back up here towards the upper channel line or towards this area here. And so we could use this in two ways. We could be trading a break from this level and below, or we could be waiting for a retracement and then see if these patterns repeat themselves and get another breakout to trade down. So that's how you can trade this. But again, look at these two pairs together and compare the charts. So here if we look at the weekly, see the weekly is moving up for the CAD. If we look at the Kiwi now, remember negative correlation is what we're looking for. If we look at the weekly here, it's moving down. Okay, so CAD was moving up, Kiwi moving down. So that's the negative correlation there to keep an eye on. So that's pretty much it, guys. You got the patterns on the pound. We talked about the currency correlation between the New Zealand dollar and the Canadian dollar. So for me right now, the most interesting trade, the one I'm going to be following right now, is the one I showed you on the CAD. So I'm waiting for a breakout here so I can trade it, because again I'm seeing the Kiwi being on support now on the lower part of the channel. It's moving up. I see the CAD is moving down from the upper part of its channel. So a lower high, basically. It's a lower high, and of course I won't be taking this trade unless I get a break below this support here. You can see this was a resistance before, this was a support here as well. So this area is support. I want a break below this before I enter the trade. And again, I'll be looking at the previous breakouts here to see approximately what my target will be. And in this case, this support, the next support here would be my target. So you could illustrate that in two ways. Either you go and draw a lower trend line, so just like a channel that I showed you before, or you could just place a support line here on the lowest part of these candles, of these bounces. You see all these bounces, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a target to trade towards, and of course it could go all the way down to the trend line here. So that's pretty much it for this time, and please don't forget to subscribe and like the video.